everyone, this is Latana. In this video, I want to take you through and show you how to do a CMYK 4-color process print straight out of Coreldraw. And I'm just going to show you, I've got it on another page, but went in and I'm just going to copy an image off of the internet. Now this image here, this is a 660 by 495 DPI, so this image will work. So I'm just going to right click it, copy the image, go ahead and get this off of here, and I'm going to paste the image. Now because I have color profiles set up, if you go back to my video that we did on setting up your color profiles in Coreldraw, this will explain why I am getting this pop-up. This pop-up is letting me know that the image is missing an RGB profile. It doesn't have one, and it wants to assign an RG profile of Apple RGB to the document. And I'm going to click here and allow it to do that. Okay, and if I did not want it to do that, I could click and select another color profile, but I do want it to default to the color profiles that I set up. So I'm going to click OK. That's going to bring the image into Coreldraw. Remember that I talked to you about these color profiles. This is very, very important when you are dealing with processed colors and whatnot. So I'm just going to go in, put my eyedropper here, and show you that this is an RGB image that we have here. And go ahead and set up my image. Now, go to fit. Well, actually I want to go to page. And this, for the purpose of this video, this is just on a 8.5 by 11-inch sheet. Now, I'm not going to add any text here. I could add text, and if I added text to this image, I would add, let's just go ahead and add some text. I'm going to add text to my image. But however, because I am going to do a 4-color process print on this design, I'm going to make this 4th color, this 5th color, I'm going to make this a Pantone color, and see if I can find a green that I like a little bit better than that. So there we go. Now this is my Pantone color palette up here, and I can check and see that that's a Pantone color, and it's a solid Pantone color at this point in time. And let's go here and let's go here. Right now this is just a solid Pantone color, and my image is an RGB image. In order for us to print this out correctly in Coreldraw, we need to convert the image over to a CMYK image. However, if you're going to do any type of editing to this image, adjusting color tones or anything like that, you need to do that before you convert it over. So you can do that by going to your effects, gonna go adjust, go tone curve. When it gets tone curve, I'm still in RGB mode. I can adjust my red. This will kind of desaturate that red a little bit. If I go that way, I can go up. That will give it more of a red. I can even go here, kind of red that out, and I can go here and do kind of an S curve. So you can, this is how you're going to play with your images. And you can also, I'm sorry, but you can also go into each channel here in red, green, and enhance. Do what you want to do with it to adjust your image before you go in and get ready to print it. Now, you can view this in channels, and to view your image in channels, I would suggest that you open Corel Paint. I'm not going to Photo Paint. I'm not going to open Photo Paint right now on this video because a lot of times I have issues with let's just see, with my recorder crashing. But you could open Paint. You can also go in and kind of see your channels here, which would be CMYK channels. You can kind of see the channels. Now, we have not converted this over to what we want it to be yet, but if you were to go into, and I'm just going to go ahead and do it and hope for the best, hope that that Corel Photo Paint opens up. I'm just going to go ahead and open up Corel Photo Paint. You have a little bit more control over in Photo Paint than you do in Corel, because Photo Paint is for photographs and raster images, bitmaps, things like that, and Coreldraw is actually a vector-based program. So I'm just going to go ahead and open up my my object manager. I'm going to go in here and show you how you can tell your color channels. Now, we have not converted this image over. This image is still RGB. Okay, still RGB. But if we want to convert this over, the first thing that we want to do is we want to make sure, if we have not loaded up our color profiles, that our color profiles are loaded. And I know that mine are loaded, but I'm just going to show you here how to check. And here are the default settings here. It's my color profiles are not loaded in over in Photo Paint. So what I'm going to do, gonna have to actually load my color profile over here. I did not realize, and it's not even loaded. It's not even in this computer. So I'm just gonna go here to load. This is a good way to go ahead and show you guys. You get a little bit of extra in this tutorial. So I'm gonna go to my color profiles. My Coreldraw macros. Let's see. Should be under Corel color profiles. Okay. CMYK. Nope. Oh, clicked the wrong thing, I guess. I'll go here and I'm going to upload this Ryonet IC Pro Bright. I have the color profile loaded in Coreldraw, but I didn't have it loaded over here in Photoshop. So what I want to do, I'm sorry, not Photoshop, Corel Photo Paint. I'm going to select Apple RGB, 20% on my dot gain, Microsoft WCS. I'm going to map that. Use embedded color profiles. No. I want to convert. color profiles. And I want it to warn me. This is part 2 of the video. I'm sorry about that, it cut off. I'm going to go ahead and we were actually converting over these, selecting convert document palette, and that's because I'm always going to bring my image in as a RGB and then I'll go in and do it. So I'm just going to hit this to warn me, and I'm going to save this color profile as for color process. For color process. Okay, now my color profile is saved. And now when I go here and we go to documents, we see our default color profile. Here is Apple RGB and Ryonet Pro Bright. So what I'm going to do is just go here, select the, go back out. I'm going to show you again the document settings. My document settings is here and my default is here. So I want to change this, and I'm just changing this for now. I don't even have to change it because I'm actually going to end up doing this in CMYK, but I wanted you to see the difference between Apple RGB and that regular default color profile that was there, and so you see how that changed. Gave me a much cleaner look, and that's how I want the image to print. But we're going to go ahead, if you wanted to do something here, you could go in and you could do your adjustments. I mainly do all of my stuff out of Coreldraw, and I don't come into Photo Paint, but there are times that you want to come into Photo Paint. Now what we're going to do now is I'm just going to go ahead and convert this over to a CMYK. Now you see when I converted this over to a CMYK, let's go here and click on image information, and let's turn channels on so we can see what we've got. When I converted over to a CMYK, since I didn't do any type of editing with it, CMYK does not have as wide of a color gamut as RGB, so you may want to go in and play with your colors and everything, but I didn't do anything for this video. But let's just go in and look. We see our color information. Go to our color channel, and if you hit on information, show you, this is our cyan right here. We're at 16% cyan, so we've got good colors going on here. We're not oversaturated, and that's why you need to have the correct color profiles. But if you wanted to, the only reason I bring this into Photo Paint is if I want to do any type of adjustments, or I want to see my actual channels that's going to be printed. These are the 4 channels here. Okay, so other than that, I don't bring it in here, but you can bring it in here and you can work on it, and then you can also go ahead and print it from here if you'd like. Another thing that you can do in Photo Paint that you can't do over in Coreldraw is you can go in and you can split your channels to CMYK. When you split channels to CMYK, that actually puts each color channel, it's moving a little bit slow. It's my, but it actually puts each color let me go back over here. Okay, here's my CMYK. Sorry y'all, I think I must have clicked something wrong. Let's go here and go there. So I got to have that selected. Close that out. Okay, now I'm back on the CMYK channel, and I'm going to go image, and then I'm going to split these channels. Okay, now that should give it to me. There we go. So these are the actual, would be magenta, I'm sorry, cyan, magenta, the yellow, and the black channel. If I did not have a RIP software, I could go in and half tone these now. Half tone this at a 75, the yellow at a 75, 45, and 15. And I would go in and convert that over to a bitmap and half tone, but I don't need to do that. So what I want to do is I'm just going to hit no because I don't want to save anything. I'm just showing you a way that you can do it in Photo Paint, or you can do it in Corel. We're going to get back into Corel. I'm not going to save any of this. So I'm back over here and I'm in Corel. And if you're going to add text, then you want to go ahead. You probably want to stay in Corel and do it. It's a lot faster to do it in Corel, in my honest opinion. Now, I'm going to, since I have, let's see here, got to convert this one over because I don't think it's converted over. Okay, it's in RGB, and we're going to take it, the image, just select the image, bitmaps, convert it to a bitmap. I'm going to convert this over to a CMYK bitmap, and I'm going to leave anti-aliasing on. I want it at 600 dpi. You can do 300 dpi and you'll be fine. So now that that's been converted over, I'm ready to print this image. And as long as I'm not going to do anything else, I can go ahead and print this. I'm going to move this down a little bit so I can get some page information. When I'm dealing with that recorder from time to time, it will kind of mess with what I'm doing. So I'm just going to center that to page and actually take that back up a little bit. There we go. So now I'm just going to go in, and the only thing I'm going to do right now is print this. If we were doing this on a black shirt, we could do a white background for this, and I'll go in, I'll show you how to do that at another time, but right now we're just going to print this on a white shirt. So I'm just going to go to print. At this point, I would select my PostScript printer, and I would get my colors. Now that is, remember when I told you if you want to add another color, you could put a spot color in with that, and that's going to be the spot color. I'm just going to go here, show you the separations. And we're actually not going to do anything here. My document profile, going to correct that using using Ryanette colors. So here we go. We've got, these are our colors here, and we're going to go into advanced settings. Now I'm going to show you this in this video, and then I'm going to show you in another video. If you go in and look up my video on setting up your print settings, you won't have to go in and do this but one time, and then it'll always be set up for you. But because we are doing a CMYK, I'm not going to select overprinting or trapping or anything like that. We're going to leave that alone. We're going to go to advanced settings. Under advanced settings, we're going to click that, and we're going to change these line frequencies. Now you can do a 45, a 55, but between a 45 and a 55, that's where you need to be. What you want to do is you want to multiply 5 times 55, and that would give you your screen mesh, which would be 225. 5 times 55 would be 225. So we're going to round that up a mesh, and we would use a 230. Normally, on this print, I'm going to use a 305. Okay, so let's just use a 305 on here, but that's how you do it. But that's the lowest that you want to use is a 230. So I'm going to do this and on a manual, if you did 45, you'd be fine. I'm going to do this at a 55 on the frequency. colors are going to be 55. Now let me see what I've got here. Oh, on that right there, I'm not going to do anything on that one. I can just leave that alone because that's a solid color. So I don't have to do anything. But on my colors, I'm going to do 15, 45, 75, and 75. Now, if you're wondering where I'm getting these angles from, these angles are coming from my cheat sheet, halftone cheat sheet. And I believe that's on the internet somewhere, or it's in the group. I'll give you if you're in a class, I'll give you the halftone cheat sheet, so you'll always have these angles. We're going to go in here, and by default, my halftone type that I like to use is dots. Some people like to use ellipse. That's pretty much up to you and up to the printer, but I'm going to use dot. Now you also have some other custom items over here. We're just going to leave those alone. This is dealing with different mores, keeping your jobs really good, but this is for some other stuff, so we're just going to leave that alone. So once I do that, I've got my dot, I've got my lines and my frequency set up. I'm going to click OK. Once I click OK, you're ready to print. You can print this to your printer now. And I'm going to click print because I'm printing through Ghostscript. And so my file is actually going to be saved. I'm going to save this as a PostScript file. And I'm just going to name this Tigerceps. I hit save. And I'm basically done. I'll come back in and I'll show you how that will print out. Now I'm going to just kind of drop this down. Hopefully let's see here, Tigerceps, here we go. I'll open up Tigerceps, and hopefully this does not crash. A lot of times it'll crash. Now in Ghostscript, I want you to notice that in some of my previous videos, you see me go in and bitmap and convert to a halftone. I didn't convert this to a halftone. I'm going to let Ghostscript do this for me. Okay? So you're not going to see it and you're not going to be able to preview it. But it's going to happen. And it's going to happen like magic. So I will do that, and hopefully I will get to upload this for you guys to see once it's done. So I'm going to go ahead and print this out. And I'll come back and I will show you what the films look like. Thanks for watching. Okay, welcome back. Here's the final steps that we did for our job. And there are the halftones in there. These are the 4 plates for our tiger design. This design is separated, half-toned, and it is ready to go to print. And of course, we have, so these are all halftones. And then I want to show you, so in Ghostscript, when you do your, this is the spot color, no halftones, 100%. That's it, folks. So that's how you do your color separations for CMYK in Coreldraw. We're going to print these out. Once I print this out, burn the films and print this out, I'll do an update.